the day after the storm over the Angliru. Questions around Jumbo-Visma and team cohesion. But today, another day. Destination Linares. Plenty more climbs. Lots of mountain points up for grabs. Surely a breakaway had to be going off and up the road. And who would be leading the band? Remco Evenepoel, you could be almost certain of it. Well, questions about team cohesion within Jumbo-Visma would be answered, we were hoping. Sepp Kuss looked relaxed, as if messages had been delivered about protecting the red jersey. Stage 18, destination La Cruz de Linares. Let's see if all the predictions would come true. 3 Category 1 climbs along the way. The last 2 climbs, the same mountain, taken twice. Well, with the downhill run at the beginning, this was going to garner a real battle to be in the breakaway. Such were the chances of its success. Well, we had a number of rolling battles along the way in the first 10 kilometres, and being downhill, it was quite pacey. Remco Evenepoel was indeed up the road, and the band leader, I think it's fair to say. Would anyone dare to deny him when we went over the mountains? And would anyone dare indeed to encroach on Sepp Kuss's marginal lead overall within his own team of the red jersey competition? Well, San Lorenzo came and San Lorenzo went, and indeed the first of the mountains belonged, of course, to Remco Evenepoel. Well, the gap was enormous by this point. With just under 60 kilometres to go, the margin was still over 10 minutes, and Evenepoel just kept on metronomically taking those mountains points. We came past Oviedo, and indeed the descending as well as the climbing was certainly being a factor. The breakaway was thinning down, but when Andy Kron attacked, it was almost like an ultimatum, of which Remco Evenepoel felt more than equal to, and maybe thinking, how disrespectful. Away he went, stamping on the pedals, leaving Damiano Caruso and Max Pohl, the nearest riders to him. But the margin was extending. The battle for the best Spaniard in this race was raging. Mikel Landa calling for troop support, while Remco Evenepoel headed over the final climb for the penultimate time. It was to be down in the valley and then back up again for him, and the margin was extending. Max Pohl at minute and 21 by the time he crested what would be the final peak. Everybody else was fully engaged in the descent, trying to stay safe. Evenepoel was up the road and gone. It would surely be his day, but what about the battle for minor places in the general classification? Vlasov tagged onto the wheel of Nico Dents and tried to get a margin, battling for his position in the top 10. Others were struggling, including João Almeida, supposedly in the service of Juan Ayuso, who had his own troubles. Mikel Landa wanting to be best Spaniard and would quite like 4th place overall, currently occupied by Ayuso. That was a toe-to-toe battle at the very last. Meanwhile, the Super Domestiques were in the service of Sepp Kuss. Roglic and Vingegaard showing support. Mas also in the frame. And Evenepoel coming home. Yes, touching his head as if to say it's not just all in the mind, and offering up a love heart to anyone who cared to watch. It was magnificent, and so was Sepp Kuss. Jonas Vingegaard on the radio say, I'm dropping back, and just to offer up a little bit of support. Well, not immediately, but in the last few hundred metres, that's precisely what he did. Kuss set off, Roglic on his wheel, not overtaking the man. Mas and Ayuso throwing to the line and gaining a couple of seconds, 4 indeed, over Landa in that best Spaniard competition. Over the line came Vingegaard, offering up some comfort to Sepp Kuss, who now leads this race by 17 seconds. 1 climbing day still to come, 2 days for the sprinters, and it looks like Sepp Kuss will be crowned champion of this magnificent race. Well, brave you had to be today, and indeed determined. Remco Evenepoel is exactly that in this kind of terrain. He now owns the King of the Mountains jersey and just has to get himself to Madrid. This is how we finished. Evenepoel ahead of Caruso, Kron, Pohl, Orzola, Bernal, Ayuso, Mas, and of course Sepp Kuss in 10th place on the line. knowing now that that jersey is virtually his. He has to get himself to Madrid. 17 seconds is his margin of advantage over Jonas Vingegaard, who backed down just a little bit at the final climb. Primož Roglic had 1:08. It's a 1-2-3 for Jumbo-Visma, and it looks like nobody is going to get close to them. Remco Evenepoel owns the polka dot jersey. Such an amazing tally of points he has. And of course, stage wins, 3 of them to his name in this race. Evenepoel will not be caught in this King of the Mountains competition. Stage 20 offers 10 climbs, but they're all category 3. And so, stage 19, Iscar. It's going to be for the quick men, you can be sure of that. You can also be certain that Caden Groves would like the intermediate sprint and the finale, just to make sure of that green jersey. Fabulous race, not over yet, but it's kind of feeling like things have calmed down a little bit. Just wait for the sprint tomorrow.